All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Shakti Flow. Let's take a comfortable seat. We'll start class with centering. Take a nice deep breath in through the nostrils. And as you exhale, can you feel and sense your whole body settle just a little bit more? We tend to hold tension on a regular in different areas of the body. So this particular moment gives us an opportunity to check in with where that habitual pattern might be and how we can release it. This week, I've been talking a lot about discovery, allowing our practice and our embodied wisdom to bring us on a discovery of what's present, how we move in our body, what we need to do, what we don't need to do. And so we use it as an opportunity to be loving and kind, compassionate to this thing that we call a body. So as we take that next deep breath, maybe breathe into that idea of discovery and curiosity to whatever may show up. You've heard that expression, life doesn't happen to us, life happens for us, for our own growth, our own awarenesses, so that we can pivot and shift, moving more towards our highest good rather than away. So let's bring the hands together right at the heart center, holding that and any other intention you have for your mat and your experience this morning. And allowing the class to be exactly what you need. All right, stay where you are and keep your hands touching, but just move them a little bit off your body. You're going to inhale and open your hands away from each other. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and feel that energy in the back of your body. Notice what happens in the belly. Do you let go of it? Can you draw the belly gently back so there's a little container? And then as you exhale, hands come back together. Now I did that in slow motion. So let's do that with your breathing. So as you inhale, squeeze, and as you exhale, release and squeeze. So you're moving on your own breath here. You might be going slower or faster than I am. And then start to exaggerate the movement in the shoulders so that when you squeeze the shoulder blades, your chest is moving forward. When you pull them apart, your palms are touching. So it's a cat-cow-like action. And then notice if your head is moving at all. Most of the time it isn't. So allow your head to move a little bit with this extension and flexion, meaning that when your palms are touching, your face is facing downward. And when your palms are open, your face is more upward. We'll do 3 or 4 more here, just trying to open up, tap into some of the sticky places of our upper body. Last one. And after you close the hands, excuse me, releasing the hands down, opening the eyes if you have them closed, and gently roll the shoulders. All right, so that kind of movement is really nice for just noticing, discovering like what is going on and how much consistent tension and stickiness do we live with on a regular. All right, so now we're going to stand up and move a little bit more around. I want you to have blocks with you today. Take my little cheat sheet with me. All right, so just stand in Tadasana for a moment. Give yourself a check-in. So as you're standing in Tadasana, you're making a conscious focus. You're creating a conscious focus to discovering what is happening in the body today. Do you feel energized? Do you feel tired? Do you feel excited? Do you have sticky places in your body? We just opened up the upper back a little bit. So just noticing that. All right, so bringing the feet a little bit wider apart, we're gonna go into a little bit of a wide squat. So I want you to sit back and down. The knees are gonna be open. So go wherever your knee range of motion is in your hip range. Hands come to your thighs. You're gonna lean forward. Hold on to your own legs like you're grabbing them. And then I'm gonna turn so you can see. Let's go to a bigger cat-cow-like motion here. So tailbone now lifts, heart lifts, eyes lift. For your inhale, exhale, tailbone down, eyes down for your exhale. Try to keep the legs exactly as they are, keep the arms exactly as they are, and you're just trying to move the middle of your torso. So you're inhaling and expanding, and you're exhaling and contracting. You might notice that when you're inhaling, you have a tendency to sit a little bit deeper. That's fine. And as you exhaling, you might notice that you lift a little bit, but stay as organized as you can here. Last time. And then find a neutral territory, someplace in the middle. Press against your left hand, look over your right shoulder, and notice if you can drop your hip at all down. We're just discovering, we're going on a little journey. Inhale, come to center, exhale, twist the other way. So you're pushing against that leg and you're twisting so you can really feel the relationship between your legs and your torso. And now start to move on your breath. Inhale to center, exhale, twist, sit a little deeper. Inhale, center, exhale, twist, and sit a little deeper. So it's a little pulsing, almost like action. When you come to the center and you're inhaling, you lift a tiny little bit. And as you twist and exhale, you sit a little bit. Last time each side. Go nice and slow. Just really notice what you're feeling. And for those who have said, you know, twisting or hip stuff, you're just going on a little discovery. All right, hold center. Now this time we're going to come up to stand. Take your left arm up and over, reaching into a lateral bend, and then come back down. See where your squat takes you. And then go up again. So this is discovering not only the lateral movement, but where do you feel more open here? Try to imagine that you don't have to go to the floor. You don't have to go anywhere, but you're just allowing your body to slowly open up. And I notice in my own body, I've got a little bit more range just because we did the first two actions. Good, one more time on the other side. And then come down into wherever that deep squat is for you. It may be halfway down, it may be really low, it doesn't matter. Lean forward, put your fingertips on the floor. Can you square up your feet and just start to lift your hips up? And then bending the knees again. So again, a little bit of a massaging-like action where you're bending and straightening the legs, asking for range of motion, asking for activity here, getting your body a little bit used to what's going to come. All right, now soften your knees a little bit. Walk your feet more underneath you. They don't have to be all the way into Tadasana, but a little bit closer. Sit back and down, and then bring yourself up on your forearms. So your knees are a little bit, or your feet are a little bit wider than what they would normally be, but not as wide as they were. And from here, we're going to inhale, stand. Arms come all the way out. Inhale. So we did this last week. The thumbs touch. Exhale, hands come down and around. Fingertips touch. Pinkies. Inhale, up. And exhale. And the next time we come down, if you want, you can bend the knees and come into a squat. Hands come in front of your legs. I'm not going to work as deep as I normally would just because I'm trying to honor where my body is, what my body wants to do and can at the moment. I'm not sick. I'm not anything. My body's just trying to recover from a lot of different things, and I'm not trying to force it anymore. Last time. All righty. Next time your hands come up over your head, stay there. Bring your hands and your feet all the way together and pause here in Tadasana. I want you to use your blocks now. This is another kind of flossing or range of motion kind of thing. We're going to target the back of the body rather than the lateral body where we just were. So I want you to stand where your blocks are somewhere near your feet. They can be a little bit ahead of you, but not out here. We'll do that later. And I want you to soften your knees so that your spine feels nice and long. You can tell on me that if I straighten my legs, my back rounds. So bend your knees. I don't care about your legs being straight at the moment. So you're going to take a step back like you're going to do a lunge or a crescent, but you're going to stay right here. Put your weight on your hands and then bend your back knee as if you're going to touch it to the floor, but don't, and then straighten it. Notice how your body weight is forward over your front leg and straighten it. One more time, down and straighten it. Step forward, keep your long spine and step back with the other leg. The front knee stays somewhere over that front foot ankle. Bend the back knee almost to the floor and then straighten it. So this is what I'm going to call level 1. I'm introducing this movement that has to do with quadricep, hip flexors, glutes, lower back, all the things. And step, good. All the way forward, soften into a low squat, look forward, inhale, come all the way to standing. Good, exhale, pause. Next round, a little bit more challenging. Inhale up, exhale, float down. Take your right step or whatever foot you started with on the other side. We're going to do the same thing, but this time I want you to take some weight off of your hands. Can you maybe come up on your fingertips? Try not to lean into your hands here. And then you're going to just lower and tap and lift and straighten. So you can have your hands flat, but just don't like lean on them. I'm going to put a little bit more effort into my hands just because of what I said earlier. Bend and straighten. Good. Stay in that long spine position as you step and change sides. So easy bend. In my in-person classes this week, I've been focusing a lot on quadriceps and hip flexors and psoas, because I have found that this is a real sticky place for a lot of us. And step forward, drop down, look forward, inhale, come all the way up. All right, exhale, hands to heart. We're going to do one more little round, and then we're moving on. Inhale up, exhale down, step the right foot back. Now this is the, sort of the level, if you want to get to level 3, this is look mom, no hands. So I'll show you once, and then I'm going to come back to my hands on the blocks. You're going to keep your hands off the blocks, pull them towards you, and then bend and straighten. If that feels too hard, hands down on the blocks, bend and straighten. So you think you're working your back knee, yeah? Your back leg. And then step forward, keep your long spine and switch legs. Same thing, you have to use your blocks to help you. So maybe you're going to pull and bend and straighten, and bend, and straighten, and bend, and straighten. Good. Step forward, move your blocks away from you, and go ahead and step into a forward fold. So for me, in my body, I need my blocks to straighten and bend my legs. Maybe do one leg at a time. Try to open up the back of the leg a little. Take a breath and inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, come all the way down. Plant your hands on the mat and go back to downward facing dog. Downward facing dog is a rest. So allowing that rest to happen, pedaling the legs, bending and straightening the legs. And then as you feel ready, come forward into a plank. Planks can be on your forearms if your wrists are bothering you. I want to challenge you just a little bit here. So if you feel discomfort, that's not a bad thing. But if you, of course, feel pain, I don't want you to be there. Lift your hips just a little, belly strong. Now push with your feet so you're shifting your weight forward. and then allow yourself to shift back. So imagine your back is along the ceiling, and it can't go up and down like dog pose. One more. Push with your feet. Good, and release. This time, push with your feet and stay there, knees to the mat. Lower yourself all the way down. Pause. Now I want you to keep your hands by your body. You can keep them where they are, it's fine. Shoulders roll to the back of the body. So we're going to inhale and lift one leg. Hands are on the floor. Head comes up a little bit. Exhale and lower down. Inhale, other leg off the floor. Exhale, lower down. Try both legs. Inhale. And exhale. Last time, try both legs and both hands. Inhale. Squeezing shoulder blades. Exhale, pause. Good. Now just stay down here for a minute. And I want you to walk your feet. You can rest your arms. I want you to walk your feet a little wider. And I want you to bend your knees and bring your feet to touch, but your knees are a little bit apart. So with your resting on your arms, bring your pubic bone to the floor and draw your heels or your feet towards you. You're going to feel a little quadricep stretch there. And then just lift your head up. So your head is off your hands. You're resting on your forearms, or maybe your arms are by your side. It doesn't matter. And then from here, we're starting to imagine the head and the feet coming toward each other. So if you wanted to get a longer or a deeper action, you could wiggle your elbows in and just moving up away from the floor. Kind of Sphinx-like, but not that high. And the feet are coming in and the head is coming up and back. And in your mind, you're trying to make yourself look like a bow or a crescent or a curve, yeah? If your hands are on the floor like mine, push down and pull back to create more space in the front body. Keep drawing the legs in. One more breath. Releasing feet. Slide hands back along the side of you. Lift your belly. Push yourself away and go to downward facing dog or child's pose. Either one. Okay, so take a little walkabout to the front of your mat. You're in that forward fold again, so softening your knees as you need to. Inhale, come halfway up, lengthening the spine. Exhale all the way down. Drop your hips, come up to your forearms. Eyes are slightly forward on the floor, heart is open and up. So from here, can you take your hands and pull them apart like we did before, squeezing shoulder blades? Nothing should move. Stay there and stand. Palms are facing forward as if you're saying, hey there. And then bring your arms up over your head, hook your thumbs. Pull your thumbs like you're trying to pull them apart. Create a little organization there. Arms are right along your ears and push into your feet. See if you can get your waist a little longer. So I don't want your shoulders to come up, but I do want you to feel like you're getting more space. Now from here, push into your feet and twist to your right. And you're pushing down into the floor. You're just looking up, lifting up, and then come back to center. And then push into your feet to look towards the left. Arms are still doing the action. You're still pressing into your feet, trying to keep longer. Inhale, come center, and then release it and come down. Good. All right, now we're going to pick up weights. We're going to work first in a full range of motion, and I'm going to show you so that you can see. So I'm going to do crisscrosses over, and then we're going to do around the world. All right, so these are long lever away from the body movements. So go for a lighter weight. I'm not going to dictate what for you. I'm in my lightweight zone because of what I'm trying to like not overwork. Hardest thing in the world for me. Shoulders on your back. Bend your elbows so your palms are facing each other. Opening the hands so the elbows are still by your body. Crisscross over to the other side. So we'll do 3 of these. Open, crisscross. Each time you cross, I want you to make sure that you overlap the other arm. So you change sides, right? And as you open, you're kind of squeezing that upper back shoulder blades a little bit together. Okay, now we're going to add the overhead. So open, go up and over, touch your thumb side, come back to your elbows and your waist, crisscross. Haven't done these in a while. Open, up. So we're working in the shoulder here, letting the legs and the rest of the body rest, and open, pushing overhead. So I like to think about this movement as little half circles, right? They're not all the way open like we would do next. Elbows stick to your side body as you open your elbows wherever they'll go, and up. And you might want to notice if one arm feels more restricted than the other. External rotation and internal rotation is one of the first things to show up when you have shoulder issues. All right, next time you come up, you stay there. Thumbs are touching. Now keep a strong long arm and just go all the way down. Touch the pinky side of your weight in front of you. Inhale, come all the way up. So if you start to feel like, whoa, that's too heavy, then lighten it up. If you're starting to feel like, whoa, that's too light, make it a little heavier. I'm doing them right in a row on purpose. And up. Try to challenge the muscle groups right away. Can you pay attention while we do the next 4? What is your shoulder blades doing? And what is your lower core abdominal muscles doing? If they're not doing anything, please get them involved. Last time. Inhale. Good. And exhale. Good. Relax. Roll your shoulders, take your step a little wider, similar to what we did in the beginning. Doesn't have to be super wide, but it does need to be a little wider. You're going to keep your weights at your chest, and this one you can use a heavier weight if you like. We're going to do squats and up and down, more linear movement. So I want you to sit into your squat, take your right arm and touch the floor, come back up and stand. Sit in your squat, touch the floor, come back up and stand. Now what I don't want you to do is squat and then let your head drop down like this. Your butt's got to be down here. Okay? So finding a rhythm, squats, touch, up, stand. Squat, touch, up, stand. Last 2. All right, and then I'm going to ask you to start going over your head. So that's a maybe, all right? So touch the floor, same hand goes overhead, push. Come back to center, other hand touches the floor, goes overhead, push. So center, you're staying close to the body line. You can usually use heavier weights here. We're working a lot of leg. Touch and overhead. And touch. So you're alternating your arms, doing one side and then the other. Really working on depth of your hips wherever you can go. One more. And down. And up, other side. And down. And up. Good. Stay where you are. Soften your knees. Hands by your chest. If you've got heavy weight, you're going to lower your arms kind of a little bit away from you and curl them up to your chest. So this could probably be a fairly strong weight for your biceps. Yeah. And down and up. So to get your triceps involved a little bit, there's not a lot going against your triceps, but try to tighten the back of your arm when you're here and curl all the way up to your chest. Tighten the back of the arm and curl. Tighten and curl. Now stay with here. Soften knees. Your feet can be a little angled or they can be forward. You're just going to hinge a little bit, not too far. So see how I'm kind of relaxed. Weights are at my chest. I'm going to stretch and tighten my back of my arm, curl to my chest. So I'm on purpose putting gravity into the mix to get more into the tricep, back of the arm. Shoulder blades are on your back. Try to really squeeze when you get back there. And the angle of your movement is slightly open, so you're not straight forward and back. All right, hold here and see one more round. Can you drop in a little bit deeper? Can you get a little lower? And then go back And if your legs are in the way, just straighten them a little bit, but I don't want you to have straight legs here. Good. And back. And back. We got one more. Now, if you're working with heavy weight and you think you can, we're going to go to a second tricep exercise over your head. If you think you can't, put one of your weights down or lighten it up. So you're going to keep your weights together or hold one up over your head. From here, remember, shoulder blades down the back, belly's in. You're going to bend and straighten. Want the arms right next to your head. Try to bring your weights as low to your upper back as you can. So you're getting full range of motion in your elbows. Keeping your elbows right by your body, not out to the walls. And again, I'm doing it on purpose. Trying to do what's called a combination movement so that you're fatiguing one muscle group. First time I did your shoulder, second time, this time it's your triceps. Right? One more. Good. And then release. Set your weights down. You're going to come back to the blocks. Back to the blocks. Now, I want the blocks to be the floor for you. And they may not have to be this high. I'm going to just show you at this level. So these are, I'm moving you more into what's called a hip hinge motion rather than a squatting motion. So the knees stay slightly flexed. You tip your pelvis as if you're trying to lift your sitting bones up. Your pelvis will tip anteriorly and you'll come about halfway down before you start to feel the need to bend your knees. So I don't want you to do that. Keeping your shoulders on your back, reach back. So we do this all the time in yoga. It's not anything new. Go ahead and stand all the way up and then bend and come all the way down. All right, so do you feel that in your, you feel this in your hips, not, in your back at all. Now, the next time you come down, I want you to see, can you touch something? So I can reach my blocks with my fingertips, and that's where I want to be. And then I want to come up, stand, down, same exact movement. But now I don't have my arms back here to help me keep my back straight. So you've got to really be cognizant of using just this great big area of the legs and glutes. Okay, do we have that? Because I'm going to make it harder. All right. So go ahead and pause. Everything should stay the same. We're just going to shift it to one leg. So I want you to bring your feet together. Bring your right foot behind you so you're on your tippy toes. So all the weight now is in your front leg, shoulders are on your back, and you're going to hinge. See if you can touch the blocks like you were doing before and come up. You're on one leg. I want all the work in your front leg. The back leg can be bent, it can be doing whatever it wants to do. I just don't want you to put weight on it. So we just up the ante right now because of we were doing two legs and now we're just doing one. Okay, the next time we come down, I want you to keep your fingertips on the block, keep your back leg spine nice and long, and see if you can lift your back leg up. Tap it to the floor and lift. Try not to move your spine. You can use the blocks for leverage and for a little assistance, but try not to put all your weight in your hands. Okay? One more, keep the leg up. Now, this is optional. See if you can bend the leg you're standing on and straighten it. Keep the spine long. Bend the leg you're standing on and straighten it. One more time. Bend the leg and straighten it. Go ahead and lower the leg. Soften your knees and come to standing. All right, shake your legs out a little bit. You should have felt that in your standing leg. Yes? Yes? No? You didn't? I did. Yes. I'm teasing you. I know you felt that. All right, so we're going to do the other leg. So let's just start with a couple of bilateral, two-legged motions so that you have your stance right. I changed my position, so I'm going to check it. So come down, see my blocks are a little too far, I gotta pull them back. And I come to that straight spine again. I don't want to be in this rounded back. So whatever you need to do, bring the point of contact higher or maybe soften your knees a little bit. And then come up, stand, squeeze glutes. Hinge, 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 hinge. Try really hard not to send your hips back too far. They're going to move a little, but I don't want you to think about sending them back like a squat. Now, after we've got that going, bring your feet all the way together. Taking your now other leg, tippy toe. Hips stay parallel, core body stays engaged, and we hinge down on this one leg. And then we come back up. And we hinge. So keep all of your weight, all of the work in this front leg, and you're trying to keep that front leg as straight as you can. Now this is a good one for you guys that we're talking about different hip issues. One leg, does it feel weaker? Or maybe the range isn't right. We're working in hamstrings, the big muscles of the buttocks, and then the lower back across the lower spine. Okay, one more time. We come down and we stay now. Fingertips are light on the blocks. Keeping your spine super long, just lift this back leg up. And down. And up. And down. So nice and slow. Oops, my table's in the way. And up. And down. And up. Is your standing leg shaking? Is your pelvis level? Okay, one more time, and then we're going to hold that leg in the air. And let's see if we can do 3 bends. Ready? Bend, straighten. Bend, straighten. One more. Bend, straighten. And then lower your foot down. Move your blocks away and find downward facing dog. Give yourself a little rest. Pedal out your feet. Wiggle your bottom around. When you feel ready to rest, bring your knees to the mat and come all the way down to child's pose. If you keep your arms up over your head, you can play with pressing the hands down into the mat to engage the arms and the shoulders a little bit. You don't have to do that. You can just rest, which is fine. All righty. So come up into tabletop pose. And I want you to turn your hands sideways. And the closer your hands are underneath your shoulders, the more stretch you're going to get in your wrists. People that have thumb joint tension don't love this one as much, so you can make your hands go a little wider apart. It'll take some of the tension off. Remember, if you've ever taken my yin class, I talk a lot about tension against tissues on purpose. So there's a sweet spot where you kind of know intuitively, this is that discovery process, that it might not feel terrific, but I know it's going to help. So turn your toes under. Inhale, cow pose. So your tailbone goes up, your heart and your eyes go up. Flip your feet, exhale, cat pose. And so moving in this nice, slow range of motion with your hands in this funky position. Just noticing what your upper body feels like here. And then we'll do one more round all the way through. Good. And then take your hands forward and walk them ahead of you on the mat. I want you to be able to land your elbows directly underneath your shoulders. Now to make this harder, you shift more into plank. So my arms would move forward, my hips would move forward, I'd be here. To make it easier, you move your hips back more, so you've got less weight on your arms. All right, so I'm gonna kind of do a middle ground here. Palms are forward, elbows are forward. Push into your hands and lift your elbows off the floor. I want you to keep your hips still. Slowly lower down, but don't rest. Push back up. Slowly lower down and don't rest. Push. So if you're feeling like, oh, I could do this all day, this is where you move your hands a little forward, you shift your weight a little forward. We're working again directly in the triceps, and then we're going to turn over and work on them again. So let's see if we can get 3 more here. Push up. Hips stay completely still as you go down and up with your elbows. Last one. Down and up. Good. Now from here, turn over on your back and pick up one of your weights or 2 of your weights. We're going to do a similar movement just with weight. So I'm going to hold my little bit heavier one now. Make sure that your hips feel level and your shoulders feel level. Your hands are holding a weight or both weights. You're going to take it up over your head. And I want you to have the weight not over your chest, but more towards your temple or the crown of your head. And you're going to do the same action. You're going to bend your elbows and touch the floor right above your head and then push it away. So the upper arms and the shoulders stay quiet. You're moving from the elbow down and up. Now to add a little challenge to this action, you can take your feet off the floor. I like to crisscross my ankles. And you're now paying attention to lower back neutral and lower belly engagement. Let's do 1 more. Good. And bring your weights down. Keep your legs in the air if you brought them up. So the next action, if you want to hold a heavy weight, use it. We're going to do a little bit of a different motion to bring into an abdominal action. I'm switching to a lighter weight. And if you have any kind of knee issues, neck issues, you could put a little blanket or towel underneath your head so that it doesn't feel like the floor is just, so far away for this movement. It doesn't take away from the movement. It's just you trying to make yourself have a little bit more ease. So holding the weight, whatever it is, you're going to take it back to where you were. My knees ideally would have been over my hips. You saw that I kind of drifted them in. All right, so you're starting here. You're going to inhale and you're going to bring the weights behind you. Elbows are slightly soft, and then bring that weight back up on your exhale. So you're moving from your shoulder now, not from your elbow. Okay, keep going. And then from here, the challenge, if you like, is as you tap your hand toward the floor, you tap your feet to the floor. And then as you bring your hand up, your knee comes closer. All right, so you can move your legs or not. I want you to stay very cognizant around the discovery of, oh, can I keep my neutral spine as I move my legs and my arms? And then the final round here is if you're picking up your head, you can exhale, curl up, inhale, and reach back. You're moving nice and slow with the breath. Oh, I like that. Some of you did 1 leg at a time. That was a great idea. Good. Take 1 more. And if you're doing 1 leg at a time, make sure you do your second side and then go ahead and rest. Feet down. Set your weights off to the side. Pause here. Alrighty. So to counteract that a little bit, I want to do 2 actions. First one's going to be here. I don't necessarily want you to use a block. You can, but I don't want it to be really narrow. Try to put it a little wider if you're gonna use a block. Arms are down and underneath your shoulders, wrapped underneath your body. And you're just gonna push down and lift your hips up away from the floor. And you'll find your range here. So press into your big toe. Really work your big toe as you reach up to the outer edge heel. So draw a little energy line from your big toe to the outer edge heel, and then keep pressing, noticing how getting your feet involved really makes a difference, right? And your pelvis is tipping up towards the ceiling. I want you to feel like your hip bones are moving inward and your pubic bone or tailbone is moving upward. Push into your arms a little bit. Feel a little bit more lift in the upper body. Keep working the big toe to the outer edge heel. You might notice that it's hard to find, right? It's like, what? I don't quite know what you're saying. But what that does is it keeps your legs working evenly. Do one more little action. So think feet, think hips, think hands and shoulders, think chest. And then exhale, lower all the way down. Again, we were working with opening up the, whatever this muscle is, quadriceps. Okay, so take your block. I'll do mine. We're going to put them underneath your sacrum. And I want it on the low side. If the block feels too hard or it feels really uncomfortable, you can always use a blanket. I just want you to be up fairly high. And from here, you want to be comfortable. Feet are neutral. Shoulders are underneath you again. So you have a lot of lightness in your spine. And you're going to slide your right leg down on the mat. When you get it all the way down, press your heel into the floor. Toes are facing upward. Can you feel sensation in your lower right, maybe belly, groin? From here, excuse me, take your left foot and bring it towards you, knee towards your chest. Hold it with one or both hands. Now, I've done this before, but it's been a long time. I want you to think about looking straight up to the ceiling, and we all have a peripheral vision range. I don't want you to look down, I want you to look up and start to lift your right leg slowly off the floor. And I want you to stop when you just start to see your tippy toes in your peripheral vision. So most people are about 45 degrees up, maybe 60. Don't come all the way up, and then slowly lower back down. When you feel the floor with your heel, slowly lift it back up. Try not to rest. Your legs are already tired because we're doing this at the end of class. So we're trying to tap into that lower, that psoas area. That's what we're really trying to get at. So I don't want you to move slow, and I don't want you to bring the leg all the way up. The minute you start to see the tippy toes running into the edge of your peripheral field, I want you to stop and go back down. This is your last one. Once you get all the way back down, I want you to reach that right leg a little bit longer. Pull the left knee in a little bit more, and really work on that action. Can you press your right heel into the floor? Breathing into the sensations, discovering what might be present. One more breath. And then let go of your left leg, land it on the floor so your foot is flat, and then slide the right leg up. Now just pause here for a minute. When you feel ready, slide the left leg down, heel stays on the floor. And when you get all the way out there, can you press down a little? Toes stay up. And then pick your right leg up, hold it with your right hand or both hands. You can hold around the shin, or you can hold underneath the knee. It doesn't matter. All right, we'll do the same thing. Eyes go straight up. Start to slowly lift your left leg. The minute you see your left foot toes in your peripheral vision, you start to come down. If you start to come up too high, you actually bypass the psoas. It's not really active anymore. So I'm trying to keep you in an active state. If your leg is tired, it's going to be shaking a bit. Remember, it's later for you guys, so you might have already had breakfast a while ago, and that's great because that helps fuel your workout. If you haven't had breakfast, make sure within an hour you eat something that's going to support your muscle growth and metabolism. Talking to myself just as much as I'm talking to you. The hardest part is not looking down. That's what I find. Okay, we've got one more. Nice and slow. The slower you go, the more juice it has. Good. Once your heel touches the floor, reach it a little longer, like you're trying to stretch it more away from you, and then press it into the floor as you pull on this right knee a little. So you're trying to extend and create space. Keep your heel pressing into the floor. That's a key piece. Good. And then if it feels all right, and this is going to be your journey, your discovery, put your right foot down. Keep your toes straight forward, and you're going to just slide your right leg down also. Now we're not going to stay here long. And if this goes into your lower back, the answer is no. But I want you to keep your toes up. Press into both heels. You'll feel your legs fire. Draw the lower belly in. Shoulders are underneath you. Press down into your arms to feel that lift of the chest. Now on purpose, drop your chin a little bit. So we're doing a version of fish pose. It's a very baby version. There's not a lot of strain anywhere on your neck. But pushing into your arms lifts the chest. Pushing into your heels keeps the legs engaged and the back body engaged. Take one more breath. And then as you exhale, release it all. Bend your knees. And then go ahead and lift your hips. Take the block out from underneath you and pause. Now I have these heavy cork blocks, and when I do that with those and I put my hips back on the floor, my sacrum actually feels like it's got a hollow to it. It doesn't feel the same. And then let your feet be wide apart and just let your legs go side to side. Let your knees go side to side. Letting go of any of that feeling and sensing into this discovery of, oh, wow, that felt really great. Or, oh, wow, no, it didn't. All right, I'm going to do a new range of motion action with you. Bring your knees to your chest, or actually it's been a long time. Let's just say that. Knees to chest. If you want, pick your head up. So again, we're talking to the front of the body. I want you to lay on your belly this time. If you can. So I'm just going to preface this with, if you have shoulder issues, your arms are going to be a little bit lower. But if you don't, I'd like you to try to put your arm straight out from your shoulder. So let's start with your left arm out first, so I call this correctly. Bend your right knee, and you're going to use your right palm on the floor to start to twist you open, and your right foot is going to come around and touch the floor behind you. Now you don't need to rest your foot on it. You can just tap your toe down. You can keep your head on the floor, and you're rolling onto your left shoulder and arm. So find a place where that feels good to you and you feel a nice little stretch. Come back to center and do it twice more on that side. So bend the knee, rotate over, use your right hand to push into the mat, and then come back around. You might feel that same action in your right lower belly last time. Knee is to the ceiling if you can, and then come back around and pause. Switch your arms. So right arm goes out. Left arm, leg is going to bend to cross over. So right arm straight out if you can. Lower it as you need to. Bend your left knee. Push with your left hand and rotate over onto your right chest and arm. So tippy toe tap on the floor and then come back around. Now for me, I just noticed I wasn't getting a lot out of that with my arm. So I'm going to move it up a little and try again. Yeah, that's better. So you got to find your sweet spot. And try not to rush away from that stretch. This is a big deal. You're working the opposite anterior shoulder and chest with the front lower belly and hip. So these guys work together. And after that third one, I want you to rest, head on hands, pause. So our bodies work in lots of different lines and angles, and diagonal patterns are common in the back body. They go from the top of your right shoulder across to the midline and over to your left glute. And same thing on the other side. And the same thing is true for the front of the body. Your anterior chest and shoulder crisscross over to the opposite side, lower belly, hip, and quad. And so if you have trouble with, I call them sticky spots, trying to find these different patterns, these different ranges that can help release and lubricate, hydrate these areas, really does help. All right, so final bit here. Go ahead and roll over onto your back. Finding your knees to your chest, you can open your knees a little bit wider if you like. You can stay here, or you can move up into happy baby, some version of that, maybe hands behind your knees or holding your outer edges of feet or ankles. What's really important is that you don't overwork here. So for me, I just noticed that my shoulders were way up off the floor if I try to grab my feet. And a lot of times I can grab my feet, not this morning. You can always just hold your knees. And you take a moment here, closing the eyes, allowing the body to have its moment of stillness. If your knees are open, bring your legs closer together. I like to wrap my hands around the tops of my shins or under my knees, sort of as a container. Can you feel the weight of your pelvis and the weight of your back body against the mat? As you feel ready, feet come down, moving towards Shavasana. Remember, constructive rest is always an option. Knees are touching, feet are apart. That always feels good to me. Legs down, arms down. Prop yourself up as you need. Cover yourself up as you need. Maybe use an eye pillow. The last few minutes here are really a moment of sweetness, a moment of pure joy, discovering that sweetness and pure joy. Take a longer and deeper breath. And slowly start to stretch and move, bringing yourself back. When you feel ready, you can bend your knees, roll to a side. Slowly make your way up to sitting. Bring the hands together at your heart, allowing there to be a feeling of buoyancy here at the heart center so that your chin just ever so lightly drops down. And we hold gratitude for our time together on the mat. This practice we call yoga, our deep body wisdom and guiding light. May our light always shine brightly, and may we always see the light in each other. Namaste.